welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thanks again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart,
Yeah.
and me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes, please.
A new episode. We took a little hiatus last week, summertime, it's busy, life gets real and hectic, but we're here once again for a new episode. Let's get into check-in. How are you been? How are you? Are you feeling
I'm
good?
okay. I'm feeling
Nice.
okay, but we're getting crunch time to the wedding. A lot going on. And yeah, lots of shopping going on, which is nice.
Spending
Uh,
that money.
right? Boy. Boy. But it is what it is, and you only do this once in your life. So I am trying to enjoy pieces of it, but it's a lot.
Yes, you
It's
should.
a lot. And I'm not having a lot of people. That's the thing. But it's still a lot. And yeah, but overall, like in terms of outside of the wedding, like work has been, kind of hectic, been in and out of the office more often last week.
Yeah.
So that kind of, when I'm at home, I can actually get more done, like in
Yeah.
my life and at work, but without somebody, over my shoulder. So I can kind of, have a little bit more leeway at home. But when I'm in the office, it's like I have to be fully dedicated to that. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. But the struggle
Yeah,
is real and the balance is even realer. Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
balance. Balance is a word, is an important word.
Whew.
Balance. So important. Quick
How
question.
are
Do you
you?
guys have
How are you?
I'm very good. I was gonna ask you, I don't know, are you having that issue where the Rona's bouncing around in the office or no?
Well, there was been three different lawyers that I have heard
Mm,
that have had it and their families have had it, and
mm,
they're okay now.
mm,
But here's the thing that I always wanted to know, like, okay, so once someone has actually had it,
mm.
are they more? I know that they're more susceptible to getting it again, but are they, like, is it like, are they spreading power germs or something, like, you know what I mean, like, out of this
I
world
love
germs?
I
Like,
love
I don't
that
understand.
freezing.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, are
Yeah,
there
is are
germs
the well,
extra germy or something? Like, this
well,
sounds like,
I would say, well, the fact that again, I don't know if
like,
it's
does
the
it lay
vaccines.
dormant now, and then, like, when they get sick, they can let that loose again? Like, so how does this?
I think that's why they have the incubation period. Like there is a period where it's just you have it and it's not contagious. And so that's probably the first, I don't know what, it's the first few days. I don't know the exact amount of days, but the first few days. I guess it would have to be within the first 5 days because you have to incubate for
Mhm.
5 days if you're
Yeah,
vaccinated. So I'm assuming it's within that, so let's say it's that first 5 days that you're the most contagious. And then after that, then if you're telling people to just go back into the world after 5 days, I'm assuming after the five
I'm
days,
hoping, because
yeah,
there's quite a
that's
few of
what they
them
say. The
that have.
science says, the science, who knows? But yeah, no. So that's totally normal, and that's why I asked that question because
Yeah, because quite a few
it's just
people.
it's
Yeah.
kind of hard. It's just hard to avoid, I think, and like you
Well,
know what
it
I mean.
is, and
Unless you're wearing a mask 24/7 in the office and nobody's going to the office to do that, then it's
right.
just
Well, I
that's gonna
am one
happen.
of those people. Yes, I am one of those people
That's
who's still
good.
wearing a mask, and I wear it inside of the office. And it's only because we have, like, clients coming all the time, and
Hmm.
you know, I still want to stay safe in that regard because I am. And even with your immune system, you have to get readjusted to being around people's germs, whether they have COVID or not. So, you see, this whole lockdown situation, it had us in a point where we're totally guarded and away from any other germs that could help to build your immune system.
Yes,
You
you
know,
feel. Oh, I guess what for because for the past 2 years you've been kind of locked away and wearing a mask
exactly, tucked
that you're.
away and in
Okay,
distance of each
yeah.
other, and great distance of each other, right?
Mhm.
And so now, even going around, them again, and
Mm.
them frequenting the office as much as they are, I'm
Hmm.
still like building my germs to their germs.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like when
yeah.
you think about a kid going to daycare, that's the same kind of concept for an adult. Like when you take your abstract yourself from other people and their germs, or just germs in the air, period, not necessarily people. Um, when you re-enter into that environment, there are times where you might get, a little, under the weather, but for the most part, uh, it's okay in the office. It's just that now there's more people.
More people.
I like to have like
You,
free reign of the office.
yeah, it's like it's when more, yeah, it is like it's not the same when, yeah, because I had one into my office one time on a Friday because I had to do something and I normally wouldn't go on a Friday, but it's like this is kind of nice. It's like you still get the office feel,
Yeah,
and
you're
then
just
like there's
doing
not
your
as much
thing.
people to distract you because that's my
Exactly.
issue. That's my challenge. It's really, I
Exactly.
don't really mind the people or anything like that, but it's just it's a little bit distracting.
Yes.
But yeah, the week was pretty good. We had like a work event, like when you have a summer party, like something like that. Like you have, so we had like an outdoor thing. It was pretty fun. I don't really drink casually that much. Like I mean, so like I mean, well, I do. Like I only drink casually. So it's like if I go out, if I'm having dinner, or it's like, but I
Yeah.
don't really like outside of the holiday and like even this summer, like maybe normally sometimes in the summer, well, I am drinking a rosé now, but just I just haven't really been drinking regularly. So I already knew my tolerance was going to be very low, and it
Hmm.
was at Stacked in downtown Toronto, and they
That's pretty.
whoever the bartenders at Stacked, their hand is heavy, you see. And to
Uh,
our listeners, when I say someone's hands heavy, it's like they're pouring the
they
alcohol.
have no idea what they're
They were
doing.
not watering down those cocktails. Let me just
Pouring
say
it like.
that. But yeah, other than that, family's good. I'm good. Just enjoying the warm weather and taking it
Mm-hmm.
one day at a time. So
Yep, that's it.
feeling
That's
good.
all. Mm-hmm.
That's all we could do. Thank you, Lord, for another week.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Yes.
So
Some
I want to jump into the headlines.
yes.
So this weekend is a big weekend for all of those of us in the Caribbean community in
Mm-hmm.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Outside of it being the long weekend in the summer and all the first weekend of August, we always have the long weekend here. So long weekend plus, so that's 3 day weekend going on for us as well.
Yay.
Is Caribana, also known as the Toronto Caribbean Festival. I think it's back to
Whatever.
calling Caribana. I
Caribana.
don't even know Caribana. We know this Caribana. Look it up.
Oh
Okay,
god.
that's all we can tell you. But it's pretty much a big weekend for us in the Caribbean community
Yep.
because we go down to Front Street, downtown Toronto, and it's a masquerade, carnival, Caribbean food, dance, music,
Everything.
outfits, everything, hookups, everything.
Everything.
Okay. Okay, family stuff, whatever you want, it's there.
Everything.
Okay.
Right in one stop. It's beautiful.
And growing up here, it's happening this weekend, and Kim and I always talk, and we're like, hey, we're over Caribana. The parade situation, it's
Yes.
intense. It's too
Yes.
much activity.
But
People bring every and anything there.
yep.
So personally, for me, if I have family visiting and they haven't experienced it, then I would take them and I'll go early, go in and
Yes.
out pretty
Real
early,
early.
real early. But personally, for myself, I'm good. I know what it's about. I love to see it like in the news and stuff. Great, happy that it's happening. I'm good. But we
Yeah.
want to celebrate and wish all the masqueraders and the people dancing down the
Yes.
road a safe and happy
Down
weekend,
the road.
enjoying their
Mhm.
soca, calypso, reggae, everything
Yes.
in
Right at the
between.
waist. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I want to big up Toronto this weekend for Caribana and all our Caribbean people enjoying it. Also, we didn't talk about this, but I wanted to mention OVO Fest is this weekend as well.
Yes.
Drake,
Drake
October's
is
very
just in
own,
it. In it. Yes.
he is having the biggest OVO concert as far as I'm concerned, or lineup that I've seen. His lineups are always crazy, and he always does it around Caribana weekend. Um, but this one was crazy because I think on the last night it's going to be going all weekend. Well, the first couple of days I saw Nelly Furtado was there. Then he's bringing out all the Canadian classics, Cardinal
Mhm.
Official.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Drake. Keep it. Yes. Keep it
what's the other
real.
Canadian guy? Maestro, like some all the Canadian Cardinal Official.
Minstrel
All the
Festival.
Canadian people. Yeah, I think that too. I was just looking up
We
the
don't have
lineup again
many.
right now. We don't have many, but it's like kind of crazy how
Yeah, I
Was a
see that
hater.
hot. Drake
So
keep it
okay, so I found Chaclair. That's what I was thinking of.
clear.
Remember
Yes,
Chaclair? Ain't no
yes,
dangerous something. Yeah,
yes.
so Chaclair
It's
because it was
a
another
woman
one.
song
So
though.
okay, so OVO in Toronto this weekend, Caribana weekend. Friday's bill features Chaclair, Keisha Shante,
Oh,
Glenn
nice.
Lewis.
Mishy Me.
Glenn Lewis. No, Glenn Lewis isn't. No, Mishimi. I don't wait. Let me
Oh,
go through the list. Canada's Queen of R&B, Julie Black.
okay, okay.
Cardinal Official from my show, like you said, my show, Fresh West,
Mm-hmm.
Rascal, like crazy, like so big up to that, like all the Sean
Wow.
Desmond, all the big Canadian hip hop acts, were featured on Friday night's bill. Oh,
Yeah.
then he had Michi Me was there
Thank
and
you.
Solitaire. Wow,
Can't
this
have
is
can't have
huge.
that without Mishy Me. You see
You know
me?
what? Big ups to Drake. Big ups to Drake for this lineup. First of all, I just have
Thank
to say that.
you. Keep it
And then
real.
I
Keep it
believe
real.
on Monday he's gonna be bringing out the Young Money crew is coming out. I think on the closer day,
Wow.
which is gonna be huge. Which is Wayne, Nikki, and all the Young Money crew. Because you remember
Wow.
when they came out, that's huge. Like that was a lineup that called me, but like I have more respect for this Canadian lineup.
Right?
So big ups
Keep
to
it
that. I don't know who's
real.
going,
Yeah.
but another hot spot. So not interested, but enjoy. I'll be looking at the
Yes.
videos on the social media.
Me too. Me too. Me too. No, I'm not
Okay, so
take my backside out of that. Mm-hmm. I'll enjoy it from
we're going to be talking about our Caribana experiences and our workout later in the
yeah.
episode, everybody. So, but we just wanted to shout out all the
Please stay
masqueraders who
tuned for
listen
that.
and let everybody know who's listening outside of Toronto. Please come and visit if you're into Caribbean culture. You want to experience it one summer. Come do Caribana. It's a good
Yeah.
first time experience. Yeah.
Yes, and you'll
Okay.
have a blast.
Moving on to a story. We didn't have an episode last week, but this is what I wanted to have on my list to talk about. Sesame Place. Sesame
Yeah.
Place is acting a
A
goddamn
damn
fool.
fool. Damn fool. Mm-hmm.
Because okay, so to set it up for our listeners, there was a viral video being shared around on social media of two little black girls at Sesame Place, which is a Sesame Street themed park, I guess. What do you call theme park? Yeah, Sesame Street theme park. And they have, all the characters and little rides and parades and all that fun stuff for the little kids. And I believe this one, I think they have different locations, but this one was particularly in Pennsylvania. And the video has two little black girls waving at a character. I don't remember the character. Everybody's
Rosita.
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 Of all the things, of all the
Right?
characters, Rosita? Rosita, come on. You're a
Really?
POC. But
Thank
anyway,
you.
so they're waving they're waving to Rosita, and Rosita's kind of just like waving around
Dash
everybody
off.
around
Oh,
them,
goodness.
waving around everybody around them. And then the kids really put like they're like screaming, they're like, hi, waving, and they have their hands open for a hug, or at least like a touch or something. And the Rosita character waves them away and
Yep.
proceeds past them and hugs a non-melanated child.
A Caucasian white child.
Okay, with blonde hair to be
I'm gonna
specific.
put it out there because Rosita
Yes.
is supposed to represent the Spanish culture. So, just so, we get it,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah. So it's kind of ironic,
yeah.
and Sesame Street is also known as a brand known for being super inclusive. Back in the day when I was a kid, even before I was a kid, like in the 70s and stuff when it was on, like if you look at the old episodes, they're one of the rare shows back in the day, especially for kids, where they had they had the black lady,
Yeah.
they had every different kind of
And I
person.
want to keep it real about something. Let's not get this twisted. Sesame Street was developed for inner city children.
Yes.
And most inner city children were black or Latina.
Latino, yeah.
So when you see back to when they first started and the communities that they focused around or were in the show, even Sesame Street, the makeup of the show,
Yes.
okay, the stage of the show is influenced by brownstones that were found in Harlem, that were found in the Bronx, Queens. So miss me with the bullshit, Rosita. You done lost the whole point in why Sesame Street was actually created. And
Yeah.
so, Rosita, you done did those two little girls wrong,
And
and you
then
should
so
make a personal appearance at their house.
yeah,
That's what you
right.
should find
But
out who the
it's
hell these children are and make a
yeah.
personal pickup
Sesame Park
at
needs to
the damn place.
send another a Rosita costume with somebody else in it over to see those little girls. But anyway,
Yes.
following the backlash, so obviously everybody saw this, and there's always going to be two sides of the fence, right? There's going to be some people like, oh, maybe it's a big costume, they can't see, blah blah blah
Oh
blah
yeah,
blah. They're gonna.
she saw
I
the
heard
little
some
red
people saying
girl.
some stupidness like that,
Miss
but
me.
even I was like skeptical. But then when I saw the second video showing the other angle, I was like, oh no, that was on purpose.
That
And it's
was
so sad because you literally see the look on one of the little girls' face where like
that's
they're
what killed
so,
me.
it's like really the little, she was like hurt.
She
And
was
I'm
hurt.
like,
You hurt
if
her.
that was,
Like you
I
could
don't know,
tell.
if that was my kid, I might have had to
No,
tackle
I would
somebody.
have to go over to Rosita
I
and
would
tell
have to
her,
dash some
get those.
Coca-Cola, something
Don't forget
on
those two
Rosita's
children
cut.
over
Like,
there. Yeah, see those two kids right there? See them? Yeah.
you ruin my kid's day, every kid's day is gonna be ruined. I'm sorry.
No, well,
I could be
Rosita's
petty
gonna
like
have to
that.
stop. Well, yeah, I'm gonna be petty. I'm gonna stop her in her tracks and block her and say, "Hey, you forgot to give daps to those two kids right there." Yeah, let it be
Mhm.
me. It couldn't be me because they would have to escort me out of the parade. Because just to see that as a parent, to see your child's face, like, and her mother was there, and she heard, like,
Mhm.
you could see and
Mhm.
hear her mother
Mhm.
see the reaction of her two girl children that have little cute backpacks on and
I
everything,
know they're so excited.
and
Their arms
just
are outstretched. You couldn't not miss them. Like this, like the character saw them because the character waved them away. Not only did it would have been better if you turned around and pretended like you didn't see them, than to the wave away was like whoa, whoa,
thank
whoa,
you,
whoa,
and
whoa, whoa.
then turn around in the big social distancing and decide to hug the other child. So it's not about sight. She could obviously see. If she saw one child, she
Hmm.
could see the other. They're the same
Hmm.
height. Okay,
Yeah,
it's like they're children. So
yeah,
no, that's a whole bunch of all these excuses. You can make whatever excuse you want to make, but at the end of the day, Rosita, you were wrong.
yeah.
Okay, you were wrong, and your job is to make children happy, not walk away sad. That's your
Yeah,
job.
right. So that's bare. Even if it's not Sesame Place's fault, like it's not their fault. It's the employee has some type of bias. They
Well,
need
they
to
should
correct
be
that
training.
ASAP.
Be
And then
training.
following the incident, there was a couple other videos came out to reveal a pattern, which was even more disappointing. I wonder if it's the same employee. That's what I want to know. Sesame Place needs to do some investigation. We
Right?
need to know if it's the same person. I could accept if it was one person. If it's multiple people, I don't even know. I don't even know. World's really
You
gone to the dumps. So a
it's
family
it's
is
trash.
now
It's trash.
another family since this whole kerfuffle. Another family has since filed a $25 million class action lawsuit against SeaWorld Parks, which is the owner of Sesame Place, for
Yep.
pervasive and appalling race discrimination after he claims his daughter was ignored. So he had another video. So there was a few other videos I saw pop out, but this person has a video as well. And I guess they're
Videoing it
using
all.
the momentum of this story to launch a case. I mean, I'm always skeptical. You let me know of these super large class action lawsuits, but people win them. So I mean, I guess aim high. I can't wrong the people from aiming high because you know, hey, pay me
Well,
for my pain.
you know what? Here's the thing: is that as a parent, when you see that your child's heart is broken,
Mm,
you tend to want to do stupid stuff. 25 million? I
yeah,
don't know about 25 million. I think that's a stretch. But they also do say in business, aim high, and hopefully you'll land where you want to be. But in this case, I think he's milking the situation. Now, do I believe
Mm,
that something should be done? Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like they should take it upon themselves to retrain people in sensitivity of children. Do scans on their employees on how they are with children. Maybe working your way up to a suit. Maybe you need to be one of the other people that don't have no suit on and do a little
Mhm.
trial run before you get the suit. I don't know. But 25 mil, it's a stretch. I could say, as a parent, yeah, maybe another trip to like Disney World, top of the class, like maybe 25,000. Okay. Maybe, you know, um, but there's obviously a bigger issue here that I don't really want to evade. And that is there's obviously a racial bias that was present. Now, in that regard, you might have
Mhm.
a case. You might have a case in that regard. But I mean, it could be argued both ways. So, you want to tread lightly with that. You might want to tread lightly with that because they could turn it back around on you. You know, so I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's as a parent, you want to do whatever you can, right? But what I would have done as a mom is we'd have to stop everybody. You missed these two here. Okay,
See these two right here?
right? These two right here. These two right here. No, we need to backtrack and come to these two right here. Like I would put up a stink. Um, yeah, but I 25 mil is a stretch. That's a stretch. But good luck. Good luck. Good luck on that. Unfortunately, we see how black people are treated, and it's just becoming more prevalent. In my blasted
Prevalent.
face,
Yes, I
right?
got you,
Prevalent.
girl.
Right
I
down
got
to
you,
the
girl.
children. Right down to the children. Okay?
So
Right?
anyway, hopefully that nonsense gets straightened out. But Sesame Street, Sesame's coming under fire, so they better get it together over there.
Get it together.
Okay. Next story that I'm kind of disappointed in. I don't know how to feel. It's really pissing me off when anytime we have somebody who's like a celebrity or famous or creative talent, whatever, in the public, especially in our community, and they have success. There's this whole comparison thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like, it's like, I feel like you don't see that as much with black. So anyway, let me get into the story before I'm
Yeah.
sounding very cryptic. Sorry.
Yeah.
So there is this debate on Twitter that started on Twitter, the Hellfire Twitter, where they said, which started the tweet mentioning the fact that basically comparing Keke Palmer, the recent lead actress in the movie Nope, and Zendaya.
Okay.
And, like, why are we saying this? And so I'm scrolling to see what the tweet exactly said. I want to read the tweet in its entirety, but let me see. Is it here? Okay, so I don't have the literal tweet, but basically they're saying, "Oh, Keke Palmer's been famous, and especially black people in the black community have been knowing her since Akilah and the Bee, right? That was her breakout role in
Yep.
film. That's what most of us know her. She was like 10 years old, if not younger, I think, when she did that movie, and it was it was an independent film, and it had critical success, and it was a huge movie, and that's where she
Yep.
started." And she's continued, her star has continued to steadily climb. She's taken time. She's not afraid to shoot her shot. She has, you know, um,
She did
done
the
the
damn.
work. She did the
Yeah.
damn thing. She stays working. She stays getting a bag. Okay.
Every
Um,
day, all day. Okay.
okay.
Like.
Okay. I found the tweet. I actually just found the tweet on Twitter, and it was
Mhm.
at NBA Gladiator. Of course, he's a dude. Ugh. So anyway, it says, I'd like someone to do a deep dive on the similarities and differences. I'm saying this sarcastically and in a very condescending tone on purpose. on the similarities and differences between Keke Palmer and Zendaya's careers. They may be one of the clearest examples of how colorism plays out in Hollywood. They were both child stars, but their mainstream popularity is very different. Um, and
Now,
then somebody replied saying, "It's so interesting seeing the conversation around Keke Palmer having her breakout or superstar moment. And it's wild we live in different worlds because in my household, aka this black woman's household, Kiki's been a star forever since Aquila
yep,
and the Bee. In fact, that movie was my dad's favorite film. It went triple platinum in my
sure
home."
did.
Okay, stop. I'm going to end there with the tweets. And I just want to. So, why that first tweet is condescending is because it's like you're instantly pitting them against each other. You're instantly. Yes, Kiki's path is different, but Kiki is very successful.
Thank you.
And just because it's been, now she's in the past maybe 3-4 years, she's done a little bit more. I'm saying this with air quotes, mainstream stuff. Even I don't want to say that, but anyways, she came back and clapped back perfectly. And to sum it up before I go back to what she says, Kiki's
Mm-hmm.
been a star. She been a
Ben,
star to us.
since she was
Been,
a
and she
baby,
still is a star.
stuff.
And it has nothing
Mm-hmm.
to do with complexion for her. I think, like, I can't go without saying that I can't ignore the fact that I would say colorism is playing a part in Zendaya's marketability. I think
That's right.
we can't
Mm-hmm.
ignore that, but it's not, colorism is not dimming Keke Palmer. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think
Exactly.
Zendaya, of course, fits into, she's biracial, and
Yeah.
she kind of fits into, I don't know how else to say it, non-black people's ideal of beauty closer. Um, she's a little bit closer to. I don't even know what I'm saying, but we know what I mean. Color, like, she's biracial, and that's
Jeanette
always
is being
easier.
Jeanette is
I'm
being
trying to.
very light with this right here, but I
How would
got
you
you.
say, Kim?
Okay. But how I would say it is that she is closer to white, so she is more
Okay.
acceptable to the palate. Okay, let's
Yes.
just
Yes.
call a
Yes.
spade a
Say
spade,
it.
and that's
Thank
what they're
you.
trying to insinuate in the tweet or whatever the hell he said. Yes, there is a difference. We do see a difference, but don't take away Keke Palmer's
Yes.
accolades
Exactly.
because she's
Exactly.
been working since she was a baby. So
Mm.
a little kid, okay? And if you watch that movie, the type of talent that you'd have to have
Mm.
at such a young age, it is an obvious reflection of who this woman is today. She is a
Mm.
talented black woman, and I hate when people want to mince up words on tape.
Mm. Mm.
She deserves to have full accolades because she worked for it, she's accomplished it. Now, Zendaya, I think she's an awesome actress. And I
Yes, she's
think
very
that as
talented as well.
a very young woman, she has shown and she has commanded our
Mm.
attention.
Ooh.
Okay? And
Yes.
she knows that she's more marketable because she's fairer. She knows that she's marketable because it's more palatable to white people. And I hate when people want to try and put that in the forefront
Yes.
without looking at the two careers that are vastly different. Vastly.
Mm-hmm.
They are not in the same lane. Okay?
Nope.
Yes,
Nope.
they might do the same things, but they are vastly different than each other. And by the
Yeah.
way, Keke Palmer had to run so Zendaya could fly. So let's not,
Mm.
what
Yeah.
Keke did allowed people like Zendaya, as uniquely as she might look, even
Mm.
as a fair skin, closer to white representation in
Mm.
acting. Like we're just gonna call a spade a spade. However, with Zendaya, like I don't want to take away the fact that she has also carved out
Yes.
her
Very much
own
so. Yes.
niche in this industry.
Well,
I
this is
don't
why
want
I'm
to
mad. You
think
see how you have to you see how you have to try and kind of bring that back around.
yeah,
This
I
is why
have
I'm
to
mad
bring
that
it right
somebody
back
don't
around.
make these comparisons. Black
I
people
hate the
don't
comparison
make these
because Keke
comparisons.
Palmer, she broke down doors.
Hmm.
Okay, she is the youngest child to do a lot in this industry and made her own stamp so that people like Zendaya, as fairer as she might be and more marketable and palatable, were able to even be noticed. Okay, to then carve out their own spot. Kiki is older than
Hmm.
Zendaya. And
Yes, she
so
is.
she is. And so
That full
Kiki
five
had to
years.
make some sort of, she made profound movements
Hmm.
in order for someone who doesn't, and even when you look at Zendaya, okay,
Hmm.
Zendaya is a unique beauty. She is a
Hmm.
unique beauty, and some people find her attractive and some people don't.
Hmm.
So she had to be able to ride on the coattails of people like Keke Palmer to get to the point where she is now, making her own stance. And I hate when we take away from that. Sorry. I get heated with this type of shit because
Yeah, it's
it's,
annoying.
you're trying to pin people
But
against each
I'm gonna read Kiki. So, but like, okay, so I thank you. You communicated exactly what I wanted to say. I was trying not to. Sometimes when you try to be politically correct, you just put your foot
other.
in your
Bun
mouth
that
anyway.
sometime, yo. I
Bunda,
think
yeah,
that our
Bunda. Thank
society
you,
is too
Kimmy.
damn
That's why
politically,
she's our
we're
passionate
too
heart.
politically correct sometimes, to the point where
Yeah.
the point and the message gets lost because we're so carried on with, oh, how does it sound? And you know what? I'm the type of person, if you don't like what I have to say, sorry, but it's said. So you can either choose to do what you want with that or not. But I said what I needed to say, and that is Zendaya is closer to white and more palatable. Put a spade on the spade. Anyways, come on.
Okay, so Kiki, so after that tweet went out and everybody's chiming in with their 2 cents, as the social media world goes, we have to see and hear everybody's 2 cents, unfortunately. Kiki came back
Literally two
and
cents.
said, I have been a great example of colorism is to believe I can be compared to anyone. I'm the youngest talk show host ever. The first black woman to star in her own show on Nickelodeon.
Thank
And the
you.
youngest and first black Cinderella on Broadway. I am an
Thank you.
incomparable talent. Baby,
Thank
this
you.
is Keke Palmer. She then goes on
Okay.
to say,
Set it
yes, thank
straight.
you. Thank you. I wanted a gunshot for every one of those sentences. But anyway,
You know what I'm saying?
um, she then goes on to say, bam bam, anyway, she then goes on to say, I've been a leading lady since I was 11 years old. I have over a
Thank
hundred
you.
credits and currently starring in an original screenplay that is the #1 film at the box office. Nope. I've had a blessed career thus far. I couldn't ask for more, but God continues to surprise me. Keep,
Every
a
time.
clap back, a classy clap back if I ever saw one. And the
You see
clap
what I'm
back has
saying?
nothing to do with Zendaya. It has nothing to do with Zendaya. There's no shade.
Nothing at
She's
all.
saying to this person who started this stupid comparison,
Yep.
baby, I'm
Yep.
good. I'm more than good.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. She doesn't
And
need
I will.
Zendaya to define her. Sorry.
Yeah, she doesn't need the comparison. She doesn't need the validation, that white validation. She has done it
Hmm.
naturally and organically through her own community, and became more known in white households as she steadily climbed. And I always think that's a good way to reach your success, rather than it just heaping on
Yeah.
you out of nowhere. But
Yeah.
anyway, so to speak to her fact that she talked about Nope, which is Jordan Peele's newest film that is now in theaters. I watched it on its opening day. It opened to 44 million on its opening weekend in North America,
Wow.
which is really hard to do. It's already in a second week making around 50 million, so already in the 100
Wow.
million, which is hard for a movie to do in the theaters nowadays. You have to be super mega.
Okay.
Like that's why we're
And you
yeah.
want to
So
come compare
congrats,
and shit.
compare,
Listen
yeah. And now you people are saying because she had this, she already been a star. But I have to say,
to
she is
you.
cracking my ass. If there's one thing about her, Kiki's gonna make you laugh.
Thank
Kiki is
you.
going to make you laugh. She actually was my favorite part in that movie. She made that movie entertaining for me. Um, that movie personally, I'm not going to say it's my favorite movie from Jordan Peele, but it's definitely going to make you think.
Well,
And I did leave. I was entertained. I did, for a film that's over 2 hours, slightly just over 2 hours. I mean, it
2 hours.
was.
Gosh.
Yeah, I kind of side eye like, you making me sitting here more than 2 hours. You better have a reason to do that. But I wasn't mad, so
Yeah,
that's how I wasn't mad. It was an interesting watch. Still don't know if I like it. I would say
right.
it's all right, and definitely some interesting scenes. And some
I saw the trailer
trailer.
for it,
Yeah, you
and
don't
I
know what
was
it's
like,
about, right? I went in not know. I had no idea what I was going in to watch, which is why I did that on purpose. I kind of went in with no expectation, had no
right,
idea what it was about, and that's maybe what keep me. I'm like, what's really going on here? So, but
right.
yeah, maybe I need to see it again to really get to like fully accept it. Some movies you have to watch it more than once. So yeah, so moving on from that, continued
Mm-hmm.
success to Miss Kiki Palmer
Yes,
killing the
Miss
game.
Kiki and Miss Zendaya, you
And
doing
Miss
the damn
Zendaya, shout out to Zendaya.
thing.
Euphoria. She's done so many things outside of Euphoria, but
Exactly.
her role as Rue in Euphoria continues to literally leave me speechless. Like, she is a
Yeah, like
once
stop
in
trying
a
to box up
generation
these
talent.
people, man. Stop trying to
Yeah, right.
put people in boxes.
Stop it,
Yeah.
stop it. And it's
Mhm.
our own people too, which I don't like.
You know what I'm saying?
But yes.
Sad part.
Okay, let me
Mm-hmm.
not harp it. We said our piece.
Yep.
So music news. Miss Queen Beyonce, Queen B,
Yes.
dropped her new shit, Renaissance, on Friday. They said it was leaked. I think that was what was in the news. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I'm just happy it's here.
Yep.
It's here, and I made sure to listen to it today, and I actually listened to it twice while I was cleaning up
Wow.
today, doing my little Saturday chores, and I personally love it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm one of those people that's always mostly gonna be biased. I'm not gonna lie, I'm biased. But I would understand if people say it's not their favorite, because it's very dancey, it's very clubbish,
Mm-hmm.
80s, 90s, early 90s club sound. And I think girls will really like it, and the gay guys are gonna love it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if it's for like the street guys are gonna get it, and maybe she didn't make the album for them. But anyway, I fully enjoyed it. I'm happy with it. I don't know where I place it in my list of Beyonce albums, but why it can't be my favorite is it's not like, I love when Beyonce does a great R&B song, and I think
Mm-hmm.
there's not much classic. Like I say, there's nice, beautiful love songs, and maybe there's two R&B ish songs, but this is mostly straight dance, girl, move your ass, and
Yeah, I
sexy stuff,
listened to
really
it.
sexy.
Mm-hmm.
You did okay.
I
Now we
did
can talk. Then we can talk.
today.
Okay,
Yes.
so let me. So I went into it. This is Beyonce's seventh studio album. I'm happy she's back. I'm happy it's lively. It's like bringing life back into the world, and I think that was her gift to us. It's like, no,
Yes.
we're
That
not
was
gonna harp
her.
on the
That
bad
was,
times.
yes.
Hmm.
We have so much
Hmm.
bad times to harp on. Let's try to do, like she's trying to flip it up, switch it up. Which I can
Yes.
appreciate. I did listen
Yeah.
to it, and I was pleasantly surprised. And you know what?
Mm.
It did lift me. It lifted me, which was nice.
Yes, I have to say that's what I
From all the
left it
music
with.
that
With
I've been
it, yeah.
hearing as of late, it was very nice to hear.
Mm.
Like, yeah, she did the damn thing. But I mean, I don't expect any less from Beyonce, to be quite honest. Like,
Mm.
you know, well, I heard actually when you to speak to why she did it. So
Mm.
supposedly in the streets, her uncle was, homosexual and had passed away, I think, from
Oh,
AIDS.
okay.
And
Mm.
so she did this for him because he kind of exposed her to that lifestyle. And so
Okay.
it's nice to hear that she did. I listened to a few songs, well, the whole thing, but a few songs caught my attention.
Mm,
We will talk about one specific song that caused some big controversy around Yesa, but I
mm,
liked Heated, I liked Energy,
mm.
Cozy, um, I'm That Girl. I'm That Girl
And she
for me.
opened with "I'm That Girl." She opened with "I'm That
Yes, she
Girl."
did.
Woo!
Yes, she did. And it was like a story that she was telling. If you look at the
Yeah.
titles of the songs,
Mhm.
it was like a story that she was telling if you just paid attention,
Yeah, I
like,
believe. Of course, she's always
yeah,
gonna give us a story.
right?
So okay, yeah. So okay, that's yours. And this is a 60 track, which is about the border of what I want in an album. I think it's even 2 tracks longer than I want in an album. But so yeah, cozy. I love "I'm That Girl" for the intro, but there's so many other big songs that I did forget about it. So
Yeah.
cozy. "Break My Soul," obviously that was her first single, but "Break My Soul," it was a song that grew on me, and now it's like I love it so much. "Plastic Off the Sofa," "Church Girl," ooh,
Yep.
"Church
Yep. I
Girl."
like that one too.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
I'll say right now, after my first 2 listens, the songs that I keep going back to are "Church Girl," "Move," is a big one. "Plastic
Mm-hmm.
Off the Sofa," and that's like when she's talking about her and Jay Z's relationship. That's what I got from it, and I love it. "Heated," "Thick."
Right. Yep.
Okay,
I
let me
did like
stop
that
before I
one
get into
too.
everything.
Yep.
"Thick." Okay,
Yeah.
so this is my quartet: "Thick," "Heated," "Move," and "Church Girl." Those are the ones I keep going back to. Everything else is really good, but those are the 4 that I keep going on to, back
Well,
to.
I'm That
But
Girl,
mm,
Cozy,
mm,
Heated, and Energy. Because I did like
mm.
Energy. I thought it had energy to it, but there was some
The
controversy
whole
that
what
was around it.
was "Energy" the one where she sampled Kelis? You know what? I listened to the
What?
album. I
I
was trying
listened
to
to both
hear.
of them. I listened to both of the songs, and girl, you need to sit
They
down
don't.
and listen to both of them. They don't sound nowhere near alike to
The
me.
thing is, I thought
They
it was a
say that it's the
sample,
beat. The beat supposedly was sampled in Beyonce's
and
song.
I'm glad. You know what?
I didn't
Okay, so
really.
now
You could miss it. You could miss it.
you pointed out this. I missed it completely because you pointed. I was hearing about the drama from Kelis before I even heard the album. So I was
Right.
listening to the album to hear a Kelis sample. But you're right. I may have heard a song, maybe it's "Energy," where I may have picked up because Kelis's first album, I was completely obsessed with it,
Right. Me
completely
too.
obsessed with it. Kaleidoscope. And so I thought I would catch it, but I think it's instrumental. It's not even using a sample of her voice. So anyway,
Thank you.
I'm going to go into that now. We're going to go into the drama. So Beyonce's album's out. We both enjoyed it. It's very dancey, and definitely I feel a lot of the gay
Yes.
culture,
Yes. Bring up
the
those
gay
spirits, man.
house culture sound is definite, especially in the early 90s, is in there. But you know what I love about the music? You're always going to want to move your body, and you're always going to get an
Right.
anthem. So
Right.
it delivered there. So to Kelis now. Miss Kelis.
Mm,
Uh, as I mentioned, I am a Kelis fan.
me
May I
too.
even say, I the only reason I can't say Stan is because she hasn't done music in recent years. Her career
Right.
has completely pivoted.
Fell off.
Um, I wouldn't say fell off.
Her
She's
music
had,
career. Her music
yeah,
career.
it did. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like she's pivoted from music into now she's a famous in the food community and doing very
Yeah.
well there. Um, and kudos for her for being able to kind of rebrand herself into
Yeah.
a completely different industry. But so the backlash was that she sampled um one of Kelis's songs that she did on Kaleidoscope. And if people don't know Kelis's earlier career, she was signed and heavily and pretty much all her music was produced by the Neptunes, which consisted of Pharrell Williams and
Yep.
Chad Hugo, who are who were super producers and still are super producers. But I feel like she's a part of their earlier collaborations that really put them on the scene. Like them having her as an artist really got them out there to bigger artists, getting
That's
exposed to
right.
bigger artists, and being known as super producers. And so Kelis ripped into Beyonce for allegedly sampling one of her songs without advance permission, creating hard feelings that she eventually went on Instagram and kind of went on. I saw the video. I don't think she kind of got outside of herself, but she was definitely upset. And I think after hearing the album, I think she needs to pipe down.
Yes,
And
a
he
little.
okay, here's why I think she needs to pipe down. I and Kim and I were talking about this. I admire and believe that you should speak out if you think something has been
That's right.
illegally done against you or any of your intellectual property or anything like that. I
That's
think
right.
somebody should be able to do that without backlash. I truly
Yep.
believe that. First and
Me too.
foremost. What she's asking for in the video though is um a phone.
Hmm.
She's asking. She felt that she wanted a phone call. She wanted a phone call if from somebody from her team, not necessarily even Beyonce or her team. She wanted a phone call to be like, "Hey, we sampled this song, and and we're going to be having it on an album." That's what she felt would have been a respectful thing to do, and that's why she is
Mhm.
upset with Beyonce's camp. Okay,
Oh goodness,
for two
Khalees.
things. Kelis is credited on that song. She got her credits, and I'm sure whatever money she's supposed to get, she's gonna get. But she wanted that extra step out of respect, and I actually think that's fair, to be honest. To get a phone call. Fine. So that's been done. And the thing is, maybe she would need that phone call because, girl, I wouldn't know if I didn't need. Again, I've only listened to the album a couple of times, so I missed it. I didn't know. I could not identify in all my excitement of listening to the album the first two
Girl,
times, the two times that I listened to it. I didn't hear anything distinct enough for me to be like, "Oh, that's a Khalees song." So
because there
just because
wasn't.
you're telling me, Kim, I'm
Because
just
there
going through
was.
the article to be like, "What song is it?" But you're telling me it's Energy. Is it
Well,
Energy?
yes, that's right. And so I listened to both,
Mm-hmm.
and okay. First of all, I want to say this, Khalees. I think that you're an awesome artist, and I think you're a very artistic person. I just think that you're not. Music is not your lane anymore.
No,
Food
it's
is.
not. Without a doubt, we can
Okay.
say that.
First, let's just put that out there. Second, Khalees, you didn't own none of it, bro.
No.
And if you're talking about a beat, I'm sorry, Neptunes, they own that. Yeah, you were shysted. Okay, you got a bad end of the stick. I get it. But that was 20 something odd years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So, yes, maybe you should have gotten a call. If you and Beyonce, if you have Beyonce in your back pocket like that, then maybe you should have got a call. But I think it's
Mm-hmm.
unrealistic for you, who has been out of the music business for so long,
Mm.
not understanding how cutthroat it has become. It was cutthroat then, but it's worse now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Beyonce did her due diligence, right? And that's one thing I'll say about Beyonce is that she does do her due diligence and
Yes,
she
that's
will
true.
call
She's
out
been in the game
people.
too long to be
She's
a
been
fool.
and she understands how cutthroat this industry is. She
Mm.
knows. She's at the top of the industry. So when people do things with Beyonce, success is to be had. That's why she has a song
Mm-hmm.
called I'm That Girl. I'm sorry, Khalees,
Yeah.
you're not. You're not in her lane. You don't
Not
understand.
anymore. No.
Not anymore. You're in a different lane. Now, if
Mm.
Beyonce came into your lane, and one thing that Khalees is known for in her own, culinary career is her sauces. Now, if Beyonce came along into your lane and took your sauce and tried to make it the exact same as yours, then I could understand you expecting some sort of courtesy and all of this and all of that. But this is a cutthroat industry, and Beyonce's at the top of it. So at the end of the day, you're not that girl in Beyonce's
Mm.
lane. She covered her bases. She found out who produced it, who owns it, and she went on about her business. When I listened to it, Khalees, you could miss it. I don't know how hard
You
you were
yeah.
listening to the album, but I don't know how you caught that, bro. But whatever salt you might have for Pharrell and the Neptunes, you need to keep that to them. Miss Beyonce, your album was banging, for me, it was banging. It's something that we need right now. And
Yeah,
that
we
is a
do.
lighthearted something,
Yeah.
something that we can bop to, something we can dance to, something
Positive.
very
Yeah.
positive that, and unfortunately, Kelis, you can't stop that shine. Whether
Mm-mm.
it's that song or not, Beyonce's whole album, which I heard is going to be a trilogy, okay? This is the first of
Ooh,
the Renaissance. That's what
damn.
I heard.
I am not
So,
ready. I'm not ready. She
uh,
better take it easy on
I'm
us.
not ready because, right? You need to work me
Give me
into
a
this
break. Give me a few
because
more months, Beyonce. Take it easy.
I haven't heard music like this in a long time. I haven't heard music
Yes.
like this in a long time. And other thing I want to call out Beyonce for is Beyonce likes the Caribbean. She likes the
Yeah.
Caribbean. She likes Africa. And you can see
Yes.
that in her
You can
music.
hear it.
You
Yeah.
can hear it in her music. And a lot of her music has that reggae sort of influence behind it. It has the Afro
Mm.
beat behind it. You can hear it, and that's us as a diaspora of Black people and culture. And the fact that Beyonce put all of that on one album, I'm not ready for the
Mm.
trilogy. I'm not ready for
Not
it.
ready
So
yet.
take it easy
She
on
just
me,
needs
please.
to. She better space that shit out.
Space that shit out. I mean, this took a while to make. And to be honest, you and I just sat down and listed how many songs? Right.
Yeah.
Off of one album that just dropped 2 days ago. Right.
Mm.
Okay. So with that being said, Kelis, you're not that girl. You're not
And
that girl.
again, I mean, she's definitely not that girl. And but here's I'm gonna try and bring it back to her again and say, and the point that you said when we first talked about this, um, is that she has a right because we know the beehive is going
Yep.
in.
Yep.
She
They're
is
coming for her
getting
neck.
it.
For her neck.
I haven't even seen it, but I don't need to see it. I know it's happening.
Yep.
This
For her
is the
neck.
nature of Beyonce's fan base. Like the Beehive doesn't fuck around with Beyonce. Like
No,
don't talk
they're
shit about
coming for
Beyonce.
your
And
neck.
if you are gonna talk shit about Beyonce, you better have receipts.
You
You
better
need the
have
receipts.
facts and figures and receipts. You
And you know what
understand?
the receipts
Because
tell us? You know what the receipts tell us? The receipts
that
tell
you own the
us
shit. Oh, but
that
you
for
don't.
real, that the Neptunes can do whatever the fuck they want with the song.
Sit on. You don't own it.
Oh my
And the other
gosh.
thing, it had no. Your voice was nowhere in the business, B. It was nowhere in
It
it.
wasn't even like,
Okay,
and that's
and
the
if
thing is
anything,
like,
like please, she just brought attention back to you. Like really, like I need you to sit and eat your food. Like I need you to sit down and eat your food because oh my gosh, the
and
beehive
it's
is crazy.
like, uh, what's killing me is like now that I go back and so they sampled Milkshake, which is such a distinct song. But so what I said, I did, you know what's so funny? And like I was like, maybe I do now that I think I didn't even identify it as energy, but I do recall hearing a beat that it's a beat. It's like more the beat, and maybe there's maybe a rhythm that she says the lyrics. But the Milkshake is such a distinctive song for its lyrics, and that dun, 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 dun,
It's not
that but
even
that
milkshake. It's not even Khaleesi's song. It's not even milkshake, bro. It's not. I forget the name of it.
but I just read an article. I was looking at they said Milkshake.
It's not milkshake. It's not milkshake. It was uh you know survive with you or no, what's it called? Oh shoot. What is it called?
Unless she did, hold on, let me see, I'll tell you. Okay, so the article says Queen Bee's energy samples Kelis Milkshake. That's a
No, it's not
song that's in the
milkshake.
article.
It's not milkshake, bro. I'm telling
Unless
you.
there's another song that they
Another
sample.
one. There's another sample that they said it was supposed to be. Oh, get
The
along
art.
with you, something
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no, no. That's what I thought. I thought it was from that first Kaleidoscope album, but now that I'm going looking at the articles, the song is that sample that's having her in a tizzy is Milkshake. And they do say they cut off before it's like just a little bit of the beat drum. Like if I think there's a little bit of the beat, but it's not even the big part of the beat that's recognizable.
Well, it don't matter. You not want it.
You know that back to the point that I was saying That's the
You
point I
know,
was
own it.
saying. Like,
You
we
know,
have to
own it.
just swallow all of these artists who had bad deals and they got swindled. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks so bad for you, and I'm sure you tried, but it just sucks you didn't have that legal situation to thing.
I
But
think
them's the
that
breaks. You're not the only person who's losing out on in these situations where a song is sampled and you don't get any of the money or the credit because you got swindled out of your song when you had a bad deal. You're not the only one.
exactly,
And she's
exactly.
been saying this, but I mean, I don't know if you can't legally do something about something.
Oh, you can. They own it.
I don't know.
It's
Well, I know
theirs.
Beyonce will try and do right by her, but I think Beyonce already did right by her. She probably got some money, and she got credits on the
Well,
album.
she made sure she put her voice out there, so I'm sure she, came with something. She
Mm,
got something from the
mm,
deal, but I just think that she went off on the wrong person. I think who you should be going off on
mm.
is Neptunes and Pharrell. That's who you should be having this conversation with. I don't think it's fair to Beyonce, Um, and no, I'm not on her beehive status. I'm not on them.
No, yeah, yeah,
But I just don't think that it was. I think you should have aimed your frustration in another direction. It wasn't at her.
mm,
I
yeah,
think you should have just, said, "This is what happens when you have a bad deal with Neptunes. You're
yeah.
gonna hear your song 20 years later." I don't know.
And no one's
I
gonna
don't
give
know,
you a
but it
call because
created
you're
a
not the
buzz,
person to call.
right? You're not that girl. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you know, hey, Kelis, you know, stay in your lane, girl. I think she's just upset, and it is kind of sad
It's fair. Yeah, it
in that
sucks. Yeah,
way.
but
You know what I mean?
as long as she can handle the backlash, then I'm good. Like if she knew what
Yeah,
was
that's
coming
really for
when
her nut.
she released that video, then I'm okay. Like if she's completely prepared for the onslaught of verbal abuse, then do your thing. That's all I
Literally.
can. Do your thing,
And
girl.
you better
Because
hope that those, restaurant people that you're dealing with are not Beyonce fans. That's all I got to tell you. But you know what? We're gonna move on. Move on.
we are going to move on. And so we're going to move into our first segment, and which is the Wagwan for real. And in this segment, we look at stories that just don't add up, don't make much sense. We hear them and we have to ask the question, Wagwan for real. And so this week I shared a video. There's a video going around. It's been going around, I think, for most of the month of July. But I kind of just caught it. I'm like, I was seeing all these reaction videos about, I'm like, why is this conversation about black hair, 4C hair, the texture of black hair, 4C is which you typically see in somebody who's like 100% black and of the darker complexion, very coarse, coily, not necessarily coarse, but very coily. That's it. The curl is tighter, and that's how the textures of of hair is coded. So somebody with 4C hair is somebody who you would see is biracial and has a looser curl. That's all it is when we say 4C. It's the tightness of the hair coil. And
Yes,
so
right.
when a lot of black people are have their hair in its natural state without blow drying, straightening, or using any product, your hair is in that natural, tight, coily style. So we would refer it to a fro, but not even a fro because a fro is combed out. So if it's wet and it's in its natural state, it's completely shrunken and the curl is at its tightest place. So little education on black hair for some of our non-melanated listeners. And
Yes.
so the viral videos is a young woman, Gen Zer. She's actually the little sister of a influencer that I follow, and he's hilarious, and she is bloody funny. It's not even funny how funny this girl is to me. So she released a video on her TikTok and just saying how she's really trying to wear her hair in its natural state, meaning like as natural as possible, meaning like washing it, not straightening it, not stretching it out, just moisturizing it and putting product to keep it nice and coily and texturized and
Yeah.
go about her day.
Yeah.
And she was saying how difficult it is for her to do that and maintain it and feel comfortable, but she's challenging herself to do that because why is it that everybody else can just get out of bed, put the brush through their hair 2 times and leave, and we as black women have to spend so much time in trying to appease or fit into some standard of beauty
Box.
that is not natural to
Yeah.
us. So naturally, if you have a
Yeah.
really tight curly hair, yes, there are some people's hair who can grow long, but some people, like I have a family member, they have really tight coils. Their hair is just not going to be long. It's just not going to be long. It's going to grow. It's going to thing, but it's just going to grow to a certain point. It's just like so, and there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. And what she said is, I'm really trying hard. It's hard. I'm not comfortable, but I'm doing it. And I feel like I can only the thing that's gotten a lot of people upset, and she got some backlash. Is she makes a comment in all the little videos that she makes while she's going through this journey, is she says, "I can only pull a white dude with this hair." And the
Uh,
hoteps were big mad. Like the
yep.
black men are like, "What are you talking about?" Da 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 da. I mean, the defensiveness alone, it says a lot.
Yeah. Just shut up.
Um,
Yeah. Uh huh.
what did you think
Sorry.
of the video when you saw it?
Okay. Here's my thing. Here's my take. I watched it. Right now, the whole tips out here. It's an even playing field.
Yeah,
Okay. So if this young lady is gonna go where she's celebrated, then kudos to her.
yeah,
Love is love in my eyes. Love
mm-hmm,
is love. And as long as that gentleman or that man treats you well and you are celebrated as the queen that you are, whether you have a tight curl or not, then I'm going to go with that. So I don't think there was any reason for there to be an attack on her.
mm-hmm.
However,
No,
what
yeah,
she did say was kind of, you could have went without saying that. If that's where you're
mm,
celebrated, then cool. But to say that that's the only place that you're celebrated in that hairstyle, then, that's where I'm like, you didn't really need to, I don't know, throw salt on the wound. Men,
mm,
for me, what I've learned is that sometimes their pride is very delicate and their ego is
mm,
even more shaky. And so her making that comment for some might seem like a diss towards her own kind. I see it as a woman who, first of all, black women were constantly attacked. And
mm,
so if she feels celebrated in this particular, with a particular white man or whatever it is outside of her black race, and they accept her for who she is and love her and treat her well, I don't understand what the problem is. Maybe she's making an observation that doesn't sit well with some men.
mm,
And we need to ask that question as to why it doesn't sit well with you when it's okay for you to do it. It's okay for you to walk around with Becky. It's okay for you to, turn away from your black woman and cherish these white women to the point where you want to break your own women down because they're not accepting of whatever you're doing. Are you doing it because you just want a submissive woman so you can trample over her? Or are you doing it because you genuinely love that person? So, and if that is the case, then there's no need for you to bash any black woman. And therefore, there's no need for you to take offense if a black woman feels that she's being celebrated with another race. So, I didn't see too much wrong with what she said.
yeah. I don't
What
think there's
I've
any.
noticed,
Yeah, I
I,
don't. Mm-hmm.
with our society, we're very like, I don't know, like I feel like I grew up in the hard knocks. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, like you had to learn how to take criticism. You had to learn how to, if you're not in a situation you like, how to, fight or flight. Like
Yeah.
you had to learn how to maneuver. But we're so overly sensitive that nothing can be said, even if it's your truth, even if that's her truth. It can't be said. There's a problem for her to say it. Now, is it a problem because she is a black woman, of darker complexion, that is making that statement and it doesn't sit well because it's a reflection of her surroundings and you are a part of her surroundings? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. But it's her truth.
Yeah,
So let
and
her
when I
talk
say
it.
Wagwan, yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head on the Wagwan for real in this
Right.
conversation. Why the video went viral and why black men were upset at her because On the
Doesn't
surface
make
level, the
sense.
video is very innocent. It's actually very empowering. She's trying to empower Black women that
Yeah,
have the same
I
texture
didn't get
hair.
it.
She's trying to empower Black women that look like her to feel comfortable, and if you want to, like, if that's your desire, like, you're not, like, if you don't want to wear wigs and you just want to, like, play with your natural hair and do be more adventurous, at least, like, feel confident in your natural skin and hair that God gave you. Like, why do we have to do all these manipulations and
Exactly.
stretching and wigs and all? Again, if you want to do that, do it and you feel comfortable. But there is something intrinsically wrong, I think, when we can't feel comfortable being
Thank you.
in our natural state. Like, that is dangerous. That is, like, inherently messed. That is very messed up. And so I understand on the surface level her video is just saying, like, let's fight against this, like, thing that's built into our psyche, that our hair is not, our natural hair is bad in some way,
Yeah.
and it's wrong. Like, we have to really, we really, let's, like, if you want to take up that torch, do it. I'm doing it. And I feel like, she's a Gen Zer. There's a generation that's going to do it. It's going to be her generation. But I was just like, are you really trying to tell me people are, like, big mad? Like, the comment, it's she's also sprinkling, like, she's an influencer, and her video, and she does videos, and she tends to be like, to me, I find her funny. I get that kind of humor. But, and even when she made that comment about, oh, I can only pull white guys like this, I got, like, she's not it was shady, but it's also just a fun, it's like,
She's
maybe
just trying
not.
to be comical. Like it
She's just
wasn't.
being comical. Of course, maybe, of course, we all know, it's a generalization, it's a joke. Of course, there's Black men that like that even prefer natural hair, if anything.
Yeah.
They don't even
Yeah.
like wigs or anything, or
Yeah.
weaves or anything in between, or even braids. They don't even like braids. So there's, it was a generalization, it's a joke, but it's like, I think the backlash is also what's going on for real, is the hate she's getting, is these, I said hoteps, I'm not going to say Black men or Black women. I'm going to say these people who fall in the category of a hotep
Yes. Thank
are
you for
trying
clarifying that. Yeah.
to, yes, yeah, we're not saying, when we say, we're not talking about all the people in our
I'm
community. We're
talking
talking
about the
about a
ones that
certain
would
part
take
that are,
offense. That would take offense to what her comment was.
and her
She was
comment,
trying to
and
say,
underlying what it's,
"You don't get hurt
saying
younger
is that,
than."
oh, Black men don't like natural hair. And that's not really what she's saying. She's saying, we as women, really, I think it's more on women, that videos for women,
Yeah.
and maybe men, to feel men who wear their hair out long, to feel comfortable with their hair in its natural state without manipulating, except adding moisture, and styling it in its natural state. That is it. That's what's going on. And it says, it just shows some self-hate from those people. It's like, why are you going in this young lady who's trying to rally and be more comfortable with herself? Like, what's wrong with you that you're going in on her? You
This is
know?
the thing, and that's why I
That's the
say
real
we have
issue.
to. And Wagwan for real for me also is, why do we have to be critical of her truth? Like,
Exactly.
why? Okay, because here's the thing, right? Is that everybody expects other people to understand their truth, right? This is hers. You might not have gotten her sense of humor, but this is hers. So why do we now want to be critical of, like, really? So as a whole tip Black man who is dating a white woman, it's okay for him to date her because of his truth. I like to have, I don't like Black women. I don't like dating Black women. I prefer to date a white woman, or as a Black man, I feel better with a white woman, or whatever his truth might be. And we're not supposed to be critical of that. We're not supposed to go in on him because that's his choice. Now, this is her choice.
Mhm.
Why is it a big to do? And I have to ask myself that question, and I come up with answers like, it's because she's a Black woman. That's why.
Yeah, a dark
That is
skinned Black woman like
primarily
that.
why.
I think it's that. I think it's just,
That's
it's
why.
really
That's
some.
what it is.
Hmm.
There's more of a critique on Black
Mm.
women for some particular reason. Now, if she does pick up a white guy in her an afro, in her fro and her natural hair, and she's happy, why do we have to examine her that way? Now, if it were someone who were lighter, like we were talking about earlier, if it were a Zendaya,
Mhm.
and she said that I can feel natural with my natural body,
Mhm.
and not have to feel like I have to add things to my body to be something I'm not. Like, would
People
she
would
have
be
gotten that
praising
same
her.
backlash?
No, she would not. No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
so what it is, walk on for real, is that they're extra critical of black women. And you can see that in these hoe tips. And that's exactly what they are. But you know, forget about them for a second. Black woman, thank you. Thank you for being brave enough, okay, to walk in your truth. Thank you for being brave enough to try to rally around other black women and say, it's okay to have your natural fro. It's okay to have it 4C hair. It's okay to not feel like you want to pull and stretch it to, assimilate yourself to whoever's image. So thank you for doing that, because it's not easy, especially when you have very critical people watching you and expecting so much more from you than anybody else. But if you don't have anything else to say about that, we're gonna move on into the works of
Workout.
yes. And so, because of the Carabanas this weekend, this is big Carabana weekend in Toronto. We
Eh.
want, yes, we want to work it out, and this is where me and Jeanette, we take a deep dive discussion into things that are affecting us. And so one of those things is Caribana this weekend. We want to talk about Caribana then and Caribana now. Where Caribana has been in our lives, and where you might even see it going, even projecting. And so I'm gonna start. So with Caribana, I've been going since I was a youth. Like from time I could walk, I was going.
Mhm.
Caribana has been around for a very long time here in Canada, and the whole point of Caribana was like the continuation for what in Trinidad, where they have Carnival and thing, is the same concept. It's freedom and the celebration of such.
Mm.
And there aren't when I I'm not going to age myself in these streets, but when I was a young kid, there weren't a lot of black people and there weren't a lot of West Indian people. There weren't. And so we were all scattered about.
Mm.
So when Caribana came, it was a chance for us all to intermingle with each other in an environment celebrating our culture. So, I remember as a little kid going down to Caribana, getting all dressed up. You have to look to the nine. You have to, represent. And it was just a blast. It was a blast. You go home on the streetcar, all the familiar scents and smells of like my home, and the music, the
Mhm.
costumes, the ability to just be open and free and take over the downtown. Um, it was just fantastic. Then I got into my teenage years, where now I started going without the parents, and I started going with my girls, and oh, it was big to do. You had to have your Caribana outfit from time. You have to shop for your big Caribana outfits. You had to have your hairstyle done, everything. So in my teenage years, it was fun. It was really fun. But then things started to turn. They started to turn south. From when I
Mm.
was a little kid to when I was a teenager, certain things started, more crime started happening at the actual parade. At one point, there was rumors of somebody in the crowd with a needle of the AIDS virus and all sorts of stuff. I remember that in high school. Then I went into my 20s and so on, and yeah, it was a different flex. Now I was interested in more of the outside stuff from the parade. The
Mm.
parade was
Yeah,
also
the
good.
parties. You wanted the party.
The parties were like big time. You know, at that time, even though we lived in Toronto, we wanted to be in the heart of everything. So we have big hotel room downtown,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and everything stemmed off of the parade that weekend. So now we have Young Street. That was a big something, you know, where we're literally walking up and down Young Street, different cars bumping music, different fancy vehicles, people trying to holla, all sorts of things. Some businesses staying home, open late and stuff. You know, it was good. It was the first time I met Shaq. I met Shaq.
Oh.
He was staying at a hotel down there, and we just happened to be passing by, and he was coming out of the hotel, and we're like, Shaq, and he was such a cool guy. You know, he shook our hand, and his whole hand took up my whole arm. It was fantastic. He was so tall, so big, just big old man, like Jesus. And even he had an entourage that he was rolling with, but it was good old times. And then Caribana took a dive for me. Okay. So I go now. I'm in my late 20s and place gets shot up. I was there for about an hour and a half. When it gets shot up, that means there's a stampede. People running all over the place, like, very afraid, traumatic. And then I said, you know what? My life. So I'm going to take a pause for the cause. I took a hiatus for about almost 5 years. And I was haunted one day. I'm getting to the end of the story.
Yeah.
Bear with me. So I was haunted one day and I decided to call up my sister. I'm like, yo, you want to go down there? Let's go down. So we make our way down. We're there for 45 minutes. The place got shot up. Me and my sister got separated. I was scared as ever. And now it wasn't as free up as it was when I was a little kid where you could walk freely. Now they have you gated up like you're a herd of cattle. You couldn't run far, and it was scary. And it was like, you know what? I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I left it. And
that's
I
where
am
you
not
left
going
it.
back. I'll do everything other than the parade. And I just wanted to say, my fiance, he's a parade fanatic. He went
Where's
today.
He from? Where is he from again?
Vinci.
Oh
Vinci.
yeah, that's why Vinci Trinity. They're like bootleg journeys,
right?
They
don't play. So he went today, and he's like, "There are so many people. There's so many people." And I wanted to just mention, because he wanted me to mention, that Caribana for Toronto can pull in the tourist industry about 1.5 million people downtown at that time.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, for the weekend.
At one time for a 3-day, 4-day, depending on if you do the islands on the Monday, but a 4-day weekend. So we have our own population plus an additional 1.5 million coming in from everywhere. So when he was down there, he said there was a lot of people. It looked like, when you stand up on the bridge and you can see both ways.
Yeah, like there's no space as there's people back to front.
Yes. So Caribana for me, the parade is a no-go. I'm not about it. I'm not about them lives. What I will do is everything else. I'll go to the parties. I'll go to the Kiddie Carnival. I'll go to the Harborfront. I'll go to the island. I'll do all of that. But I'm not going in that parade. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Those days are done.
You got PTSD.
Yes, that's my so far how I feel about Caribana. Let me hear about what does Caribana mean to Jeanette then and now.
Okay, then and now. So I guess we have similar backgrounds there because I remember from when I was 6 years old and my parents would get us dressed in all white or some type of bright color, me and my little sister, and we'd go and we'd look at the like you hear the music. The thing I remember the most, like as a little kid who doesn't have much memory, it's the music and the costumes. And the energy. It's like a fun energy. You're just like, so I don't understand what's going on, but the music sounds fun. Everybody's dancing and smiling, and it's like, you're just happy. You're just so happy to be a part of it, and it's like celebrating your culture. You see flags. You see we're Jamaica. You see Jamaican flag. You see the Trini flag. We see all
Until
the
the
different
next
flags,
show. Yeah.
all the Caribbean people flags, like, you know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
so it's
Yep.
like always like a feeling of a celebration of the culture that I come from, and it's like always a nice. I always loved feeling that energy through every stage. And then, so like I played bass as a kid and two times as an adult, and even did one
Hmm.
internationally in Barbados. I went to
Oh,
the
nice.
Bayesian Carnival, which is the same time as the Toronto one, and they call it something different, but it's the same idea. They call it Kadooment, but it's the same idea. And obviously the level 100 of carnivals is going to Trinidad in February, which
Yep.
I think those days are. I don't think I have the energy level to do it, but
Right.
kudos to those who do. But yeah, back to my story. Yeah, so played mass as a child because I wanted to be one of the masqueraders and have all these people admire my costumes. The only thing in that experience is I think I was about 11, I would say maybe 12, 13 when I did Kitty Carnival. Um, I did Kitty Carnival, which was normal, which is fine. And then as I was a part of the mass camp, and so I did the adult one too. But my dad wasn't
Hmm.
really it was his friend who was running the mass camp, and so
Yeah.
we were kind of under her supervision because my dad, he's there but he's not in the parade with us, right? And so this nasty man came up on me, and I was like a kid, I was like, what the hell?
Mm.
So that's the only
Oh,
thing,
okay.
parents, like, if you're putting your kid in masquerade, you better be with them, because I mean, I have sense, but like, that
Right.
was just a weird, that is something, I don't know what's going
Guys
on
look
then
for,
now,
yeah. Hmm.
but that's something that was an experience that it has as a 13-year-old. But then as an adult, yeah. So if you want to play mass and be in the put on your costume and dance up, that is not, there's a money, you have to be affiliated or search a mass camp and look on their site to see the costumes that you like and join them. But we also have different mass camps, or pretty much the groups that you would wear your costume for and dance down the road with. And I performed a kid. I don't remember who I performed with as a kid, but the one that I performed in Toronto is Revelers, which is previous NBA player Jamal McGlore's mass camp. The popular one, the other two popular ones, is Carnival Nights. You remember? Is it
Hmm.
Carnival Nights
Yep.
and
Yep.
what's the, Saldina? So those are the big ones that have been around for a long time, and they're always gonna kill it. There's a lot of new ones, but the top three I would say is Toronto Revelers, Carnival Nights, and Saldina. And you could pay back in the day when I was doing my costume. I paid, and I was getting the most basic costume, so I would pay
Right.
$120 for. But if you want to be a frontliner with those big, beautiful wings, you're going to pay about $300. So just to give our listeners who are interested in coming down and dressing up, looking sexy, and dancing in the parade, that's how much it costs. But yeah, so anyway,
Uh-huh.
and then go to the point where, and I was always like, I was still going past the point where Kim was going because I never had a bad experience. But then I had my bad experience. But I'm going to tell
Hmm.
everybody who's listening how to avoid this. If you want
Yep.
to go enjoy the culture and the parade,
Yep.
go early. Go
Early.
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 The parade literally starts at 11, and maybe the people are going. All the masqueraders are highlighting and performing in front of the stage around 12. So if
Hmm.
I would say between 11 and 3, or even 4, 11 and
Yeah, you're
4.
good. Yeah.
Go there, jump up, enjoy everything you can enjoy. Around 4, start making your way back home. Start making your way home, and I'm going to tell you why. I hate to say this, but
Yep.
we have a lot of people, the whole city, everybody who's somebody is there. So
That's right.
sometimes gangs and bad groups and people come
Yep.
there to settle their differences, and that's where Kim is talking about. Fights break
Yep.
out, gunshots break out. I was in an incident. This is the last time I went freely of my own will without taking somebody. Um, is when I went, and I didn't see or hear anything, but there was people running my direction, and I ran. I ran because
See?
I don't want to stay there and figure out, and I don't want to get trampled and people are running.
Nope.
So I ran and I tripped over this because I was jumped. There was a little thing, a little bar, because they have to block off the road. It wasn't a
Yep.
fence, thank God, but there was a bar that I missed when I lifted my foot, so I fell. I was lucky nobody trampled on me, and that
Thank
was like
God.
that was my PTSD. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. And so if I do go, I'm not going to say I haven't gone in the last 8 years, but if I do go, I will normally have visitors. If somebody's visiting me from Toronto, a friend or who hasn't never experienced and wants to go, I will go. at an appropriate time with them. But you're not gonna catch me there after 5. That's what I'm trying to
Right?
say. But yeah, and so again, to that feeling, when you're in the parade, people taking pictures with you, dancing, it's such an amazing feeling, celebration of culture, the music, it just moves you. On top of that, something I didn't mention, the food. The so many food trucks, any type of
Oh
Caribbean you
my
want to. I
goodness.
can't. If you
So
want
damn good.
Jamaican food, even though this is a Carnival Trini event,
Everything.
Jamaican food, Trini food, Guyanese, any food, and even Canadian
A
American food,
running
every type
place.
of food
Yes.
you can get there. So that's another thing that's really fun and the kids enjoy is just like getting different like Caribbean flavored food. If you love Caribbean food, whatever, Jamaican, Trini, Guyanese, whatever you like, it's
Yep.
there. So that's
Yep.
something I also wanted to highlight. And then thinking about now, like to my point, now I do it like if I do anything, I might go to Harborfront. That's something I still enjoy. Is Harborfront has a lot of Caribbean artists during the Caribana weekend celebrating Caribbean culture. So they'll have reggae artists, calypso, even R&B singers. There's a bunch of artists when you go to Harborfront. There's stage that they have in front of the water. It's very
Yep.
beautiful and relaxing. That's what I like. So if I'm going to do a celebration, I'll do that. I don't even like the boat parties. Like I got invited to a boat party this weekend, and I was like, no. And there's
Yeah,
something
I've
about
been
being on
on
a
the boat
boat.
parties, and
I
it's
just
like after a
I just
while you
want to
want to
be
come
able
off.
to leave. I want to come off when I'm ready to go. Like I'm not trying to party all night. It's just not that serious. And
Yeah,
so
and that's the thing is I've done boat parties before. I've
yeah,
done I think two of them. And what I found was at first you're all hype, you're on the boat,
yeah.
and then you start going around on the lake, and it's like, okay, 2 hours, 3 hours,
You're like, are we
you
getting back
know,
soon?
like, can we make our way back to shore, please, and thanks. I'm getting a little seasick, like just the movement of the boat, and then like it gets enough. You know what I mean? Like people start jumping up, and for me, I like to be able to leave when I want to leave,
Yes, that's the main thing.
and nothing to stop me. So yeah, I could totally understand that, but for the most part, Carabana is very festive.
Mm.
It celebrates our culture.
And it's
It's nice
inclusive.
to
Something I want
see.
to say is
Yeah.
that's the
Hmm.
one thing we didn't bring up. It's like it's so the people in the city that are not. It's like it's a very. That's why it's such a big event in Toronto and brings in so much different kinds of people all around the world is it's so inclusive of every culture you want. Like we just it doesn't matter if you don't know anything about Caribbean music or culture, someone will pull you in and give you a little wine or a little dance or get you to
Yes.
dance and smile, take pictures.
Yes.
A lot of tourists that when I played when I was wearing a costume and I was actually in the parade, the amount of tourists that wanted to take pictures with me, I was like, I need to get where I'm going. I need a break.
Right.
So it's like, everybody loves, there's something for everybody, whether it's the costumes, the food, the music, the dancing. It's a beautiful experience. And I think everybody should go at least once.
Yes, you should definitely see what it's all about. Not everybody has the same experience. I just had too many of the same experience, and
And you were out
there
late
are.
too.
I did go well. I didn't go that crack it on early. No, I didn't. But for me, that's
No.
crack it on early, guy. Like for real. But the reason why I started going later was because they had a Jamaican float, and a few
Yes,
years
the
ago,
Jamaicans go late. That's
yeah, but they took the Jamaican float out and
mm,
put a homosexual truck in. So one that is for the
LGBT.
LGBTQ plus
Mm,
community. And why I was offended was not because of the LGBTQA plus community,
mm,
not at all. But that's no cultural background to Caribana because
mm.
Caribana was something that was brought from the islands to Canada as a way to celebrate our independence from from slavery. So to take out an actual island that experienced that and had their own independence to replace it with the LGBTQA plus community, I was just like, really? How is that culturally aligned with Carabana?
Mm.
I was not happy about that. And I usually the reggae truck was close to the end, and so you would go later if you wanted to be a
Yes,
part of
yes,
that. And
true. Yeah.
I've always been a real reggae head, so I've always wanted to be a part of that experience. But I will say one thing: when that Jamaican float comes down the
It's
road,
lethal. Listen, that's why I'm like, you're brave. That's
okay, when it comes down
just
the
get
road,
ready for madness.
madness tech way around here. Let me tell you, it's
And
nothing to
here's
play with.
why. We have to say why, because as Jamaican people, all the other floats are calypso and soca, and we don't
That's
mind.
right.
We might enjoy a little bit, but you see when them come with the
Come
Jamaican
with
truck,
your head
and you
in a
see
different
bare Jamaican flags, and they're
yeah.
playing Vibes Cartel, Elephant
You see
Man,
what
and
I'm
whatever.
saying? Or a little bit of Buju Banton, or a little bit
The
of
energy
Sanchez,
is
or a little bit of.
crazy
It's just
wild.
it's different. It's different. I've never
Mm.
seen anything like it. You know, I will say, like, being that I am Jamaican in descent, when Jamaicans come down the road, say they're there, and
Yeah.
say them a differentiate from the
Mm.
rest of everything else. Okay, and I am both Jamaican and Grenadian, and
Oh
my
yes.
so for me being I'm both, but I'll stand and rep that Jamaican flag every day, all day, and twice on Sunday. See me when that truck is coming down the street, all you see is black, green, and gold are coming down the street, and you hear the bass, and you hear the whole place are just vibrate. The whole place just a bump, bump, bump in the air. Yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe, and they took the vibe out. So this is a whole nother reason why I don't need to go. But you know, I can listen to soca. I like calypso. I like soca. I do. But after a while, I need a flip up, switch up, And when they brought in the American float, because they did bring in an American
Yeah.
float, where I was like, okay, I can see the independence, from slavery and all that, because American people had to deal with that slavery as well. However, like culturally, it didn't quite fit the avenue. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But
We'll try to be
it was big.
inclusive. Hmm.
Yes. And that's why I was like, okay, whatever's clever, But, it didn't start that way. And so seeing where it started from and being a part of that early beginnings to now see where it is, where do you see it going, Jeanette? Before we wrap this up, where do you see
I think it's
Caribana's?
going to continue to work to be inclusive as possible. I think. I don't. I think they're still just trying to make it safe as possible by protecting the masqueraders. So back in the day, where people who wanted to just watch a parade could just go over and walk through an opening and a fence and participate. You didn't have to be a masquerader. You could just join in the festivities that
Yeah.
cause danger, as well as this people who paid to be a masquerader didn't like that. So now there's more security. I just think there's going to be increased security as needed from our experiences. And I think it's going to continue to grow, including diverse communities in Toronto and the people who come to partake in the festivities.
Right. I agree. I agree. In the future, like, Caribana has had several name changes in my life. So I've just kept the same name, Caribana. Everybody who has ever gone, and I'm talking international people, come to attend. So, England, all over Europe, that everybody comes. So, and everybody who knows about Caribana ultimately will call it Caribana. If you're trying to hail down a cab in Toronto and you give them, oh, I'm going to the Toronto, bop, 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 they're going to be like, Caribana, that's where you're going. You're going to Caribana. So for me, I like the direction that they're going, in the sense where they're keeping it going and they're not just letting it die. And it could have, and I was hoping with this whole pandemic and everything that it wouldn't. It's been on hiatus for the last few years, so it's nice to see that it's they are keeping it going, and that people are going to have a chance to celebrate our culture and so on. In the future, I do hope that we can get back to a bit of the bare roots of what Caribana was about and try to integrate the old with the new. Um, I hope that Caribana turns into multiple events that happen around it, because those are the ones that I'll be going to. I'm not going down no parade. I'm not about
Mm-mm.
them lives. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I feel horrible because my child, I want to show her that part of our culture and stuff.
Have
But
you ever
it's
taken
just,
her to Kitty's Carnival?
I have. We've gone to
Okay,
Kitty
there she goes.
Carnival.
She's
Like,
had
I
enough.
do everything other than the parade. I do
Mm.
everything other than the parade. I have a hard time being in large groups of people.
Yeah, that
It's not,
too.
I never used to be like that, but over time, you know, uh, certain things have happened in my life and certain things that I've seen and the trauma of being in large groups of people, it just doesn't sit with me the same. But I hope that other people's experiences will definitely be different and that you come and enjoy. Engage in the festivities. You will not be let down. Toronto, this is our moment. Drake, I know you're trying to profit off this moment, right? Yes, so, and I'm okay with it because that lineup right there you got right there, that lineup is perfect timing.
Mm.
I do see that we do need it. But to conclude all of this on a good note, this is our culture. This is a part of who we are. And we are super glad that anybody and everybody is willing to come and explore and get to know more about us. This is a way where we can defy odds and, get to know one another. And with that being said, we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So, whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. Have a good old funky time. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.
Bye bye.